Hello friends, let's go to start CBSE class 10 social science story chapter number 6 work, life and leisure. Characteristic of the cities. What means the characteristic of the city? Towns and city first appeared in river valley in Ua, Nepal and Mohenjo-daro. Cities are the center of a political power, administrative network, trade and industry, re- religious institution, and intellectual activity, and support various social groups such as artisans, merchant and priests. Ancient, ancient cities could develop only when there are surplus agricultural produce to feed people engaged in non-food activities. The modern city worldwide has developed over the last 200 years. Three historical processes have shaped modern cities in decisive way. First, the rise of capitalism. Second, the, estab- the establishment of conical rule over large part of the world. Third, the development of the democratic ideals. First, discuss industrialization and the rise of the modern city in England. In the modern area, the form of urbanization has changed due to the industrialization. Most Western countries were largely rural even many decades after the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. The earlier industrial cities of Britain, such as Leeds and Manchester, attracted a large number of migrants to the textile mills set up in the late 18th century. Five major types of industries employed a large number of people. There were first, clothing and footwear; second, wood and furniture; third, metal and engineering; fourth, printing and stationery; fifth, precious products such as a surgical instrument, watch, and object of the precious metal. During the First World War, 1914 to 1918, London began manufacturing motor cars and electrical goods. Okay, the number of large factories increased until they accounted for nearly one third of all jobs in the city. Okay. Marginal group. What means marginal group? First, crime became an object of widespread concern in London. Second, the police were awed about law and order. Philanthropist, someone who works from social upliftment and charity and donating time and money to discipline the population. The authorities imposed highly penalties for crime and offered work to those who were considered deserving poor. Women status. Women status देखा जाए तो first lost their industrial job owing to technological development and were forced to work within households. Second, a large number of women use their homes of increasing family income by taking lodgers or through such activities as tailoring, washing, or matchbox making. Next, in the 20th century, women get employed in right time, part-time industries, and office and withdrew from domestic service. Children status. Children status. First, large number of children were pushed into the low-paid work by their parents while many weekend thieves. The Compulsory Education Act of 1870 and the Factory Act of 1902 kept children out of industrial world. Housing. After industrialization, a large number of people began to migrate to London. Next, individual London owners put up cheap and unhealthy tenements, run down and often overcrowded apartment houses, especially in a poor section of a larger city. Next, finally, workers' mass housing schemes were accepted by the British government. Next, a million of houses, mostly single family cottages, were built by the local British authorities. Cleaning London. A variety of steps were taken to clean up London. Attempts were made first to congregate localities to green the open space 3, reduce population and 4, landscape the city. Attempts were made to bridge the difference between city and countryside through areas as green belts, area of open land with plant and trees around London. Okay. Transport in the city. What means the transport in the city? First, factories or workshops did not provide housing to the migrant workers. Instead, individual and owners put up cheap and usual unsafe tenements for the new arrivals. The unhygienic condition of slums highlighted the need of housing for the poor. There was a widespread fear of social disorder, especially after the Russian Revolution in 1970. Workers' mass housing schemes were planned for preventing the London poor from turning rebellious. Next, attempts were made for decongesting localities, creating open space and reducing population. Large blocks of apartments were also built. Next, rent control was introduced in Britain during the First World War for easing impact of the serve housing shortage. Next, between the two world wars, the responsibility of housing the working class was accepted by the British state, and a million houses, most of them single family cottages, were built by the local authorities. Next, the London Underground Railway was introduced. It partially solved the housing crisis by carrying large masses of the people to and for the city. 10th January 1863, the first underground railway in the world opened between Paddington and Farrington, a street in London. Between the two world wars, the London Tube Railway led massive displacement of the London poor. Better planned services and a good railway network enabled a large number to live outside central London and travel to work. Social change in the city. In the 18th century, the family had been a unit of production and compulsion as well as political decision making. But after urbanization and industrialization had been completely changed. Next, in the industrial city, household member loss and increasingly higher level of isolation was faced in the among of the working class, and the institution of the marriage tended to break down. Next, the city encouraged a new spirit of individualism among both men and women. Next, the public space increasingly became a male preserve and the domestic sphere was seen as the proper place for women. In 19th century, 19th century characterist movement was a movement demanding the voting right for all the adult males. Next, the 10 hours movement demanded limited hours of work in factories. Women also demanded voting right and the right to property from the 1870 leisure of consumption. Various methods of recreation were adopted by the working class people in 19th century. They included first, cultural events such as opera, theater, and classical music performance. Second, working classes met in the pub to have a drink, exchange news, and sometimes for organizing political action. Third, libraries, art galleries, and museums provided a glimpse for the British story. Why the early 20th century? Cinema became the great mass entertainment for mixed audience. Next, the city of conical India, a pace of urbanization in India was slow under the conical rule. In the early 20th century, no more than 11% of Indians were living in cities. There were three presidency cities, Bombay, Bengal and Madras in British India. Population in the presidency towns rose considerably owing to the ability of major ports, warehouses, home and office, army camps, as well as the educational institution, museum and libraries. Bombay, the primary city of Bombay. Bombay was a group of seven. Bombay was a group of seven islands under Portuguese control. 1661. The control of Bombay passed into the British hand after the marriage of Britain King Charles II to the Portuguese princess. Bombay became the principal western port for the East India Company. At first, Bombay was the major outlet for cotton textile from Gujarat. Next, it became an important administrative and industrial center of Western India. Next, 1819, Bombay became the capital of the Bombay Presidency after the Maratha defeat in the Anglo-Maratha War. Maratha defeat in the Anglo-Maratha War. Defined. So first, 1854, first cotton textile mill was established in Bombay. 1854 में. 1919 to 1926, women formed 23% of the mill workforce. The late 1930, women's jobs were increasingly taken over by the machine of men. Next, with the rapid and unplanned expansion of the city, the cost of housing and water supply became acute by the mid 1950s. Next, more than 70% of the working people lived in the thickly populated chawls of the Bombay. Chawl is multi-storied old structures. Next, merchant bankers and building construct owned this chawl. Each chawl was divided into one room tenements with no private toilet. Lower castes were kept out of many chawl and often had to live as shelters made of the corrugated seed leaves or bamboo poles. Town planning emerged from fear of social revolution and the fears about the plague epidemic. In 1898, the City of Bombay Improvement Trust was established. It focused on clearing poor homes out of the city center. Next, land reclamation in Bombay. Reclamation meant the leveling of the hills around Bombay. Next, the need of additional commercial space in the mid-19th century led to formulation of Serval. Government and private planned for the reclamation of the moorland from the sea. 1864, the Back Bay Reclamation Company on the right of reclaiming the western foreshore. Next, from the tip of the Malvar Hills to the end of Kolab. As population started growing in the early 19th century, every bit of the available area was built over and a new area were reclaimed for the sea. Bombay as the city of dream. Okay, the world of cinema and culture. Bombay. Bombay is known as a city of dream or Mayapuri. Bombay is known as city of dream or Mayapuri. 1896, Harichandra Sakram Bhat 1896, Harichandra Sakram Bhatvedkar sought a chance of a wrestling match in Bombay. Hanging Garden, and it became India's first movie. 1913, Dada Saheb Phalke made Raja Harishchandra. By 1925, Bombay became the film capital of India. Many people in the film industry were migrants from cities such as Lahore, Madras and Kolkata. City and the challenge of the environment. First, large quantity of refuse and the waste product polluted air and water, while excessive noise became a future of urban life. Next, black hole engulfed the town owing to population, thereby causing wet temper and smoke-related illnesses. Next, the Smoke Abatement Act of 1847 and 1853 did not work to clean the air as smoke was not easy to monitor or measure. By 1840, towns such as Derby, Leeds and Manchester had law for controlling smoke in the city. In Kolkata, high level of population was consequence of the huge population that depend on dung and wood as fuel, and also the use of a steam engine that ran on coal. The railway line introduced in 1855 introduced a new pollutant coal for Raniganj. 1863, Kolkata became the first Indian city to get a smoke nuisance legislate. Conclusion. In spite of various problems, Kolkata always attracts those who dream of freedom and opportunities. Thank